Welcome to Mums at the Table. I'm Rachel. I'm here with Shona.
How are you?
I'm doing all right. We're talking about creative stuff today. But speaking of create, we've got Gia and her kids in the kitchen.
Creating some amazing food for us.
I know, she makes it look so easy with her kids.
She does.
We've also got Colette here with talking all about well-being. Now, today we're going to get into it, and it's all about being creative. And I think, I know, you are creative, you just don't know it. Her cooking's fantastic. We're talking about creative play, and in particular with kids.
Right.
Not so much with adults today. That would be fun. But creative play, how did you deal with your kids when it came to playtime? Because I watch a lot of mums schedule in this, that, and look, I do it too. So when I say mums, I do include myself. Yeah. With a lot of organised play. But what was your tactic?
I really didn't have one. I flew by the seat of my pants when it came to school holidays. Primarily because I was working part-time, and I didn't have a lot of help around the house, so for the kids.
So they had to have their own creative play.
And I'm one of these parents who sort of kicked them out, closed the sliding door and locked it. So they had to organise themselves.
I love it.
No, look, we had, painting tables and craft tables, and we had an outside cubby house, and we had push bikes, and so there were lots of things.
So you gave them the foundations.
And they had to go and do it. And don't come to me saying, I'm bored.
What did you do when they did?
Shut the door and lock them outside.
There's a theme here. Yeah. You're always a cut above the rest.
No.
So what I've done with the whole board thing, because I don't know any parent that hasn't had that, is, I think I've done the standard thing, offer them chores. I'm like, well, the windows need cleaning, the clothes need folding. You can do that. And the disappointment is so great that they'll just go and be bored or find something to play with. Yeah. But I think there's a generational shift. Because as I said before, I see a lot of organised play, a lot of getting down with the kids and playing. And I'm not actually criticising that. It's just what I'm seeing. Yeah. But in my day, I was kicked out the door.
Yeah, that's something that probably my mother's generation, and even to my extent, you didn't get down with the kids and played as much. The housework was number one, or working or whatever, so the kids had to fend for themselves a bit.
Yeah. And look, I don't think it's just generational for a reason. I actually think there are other reasons outside of that. I think culturally, yes, it's very different. But from a safety perspective as well, I don't feel like I can say to my kids, there's your bike, go out and play all day, I'll see you at dinner time. No. I don't feel that's a safe... So I think we are working with different circumstances. Sure. And I miss being able to, and I'm resentful of not being able to send them out for more creative play.
Hey, thanks for joining Colette and I for a chat. We're talking about how to talk to our kids about COVID-19. Now, we are inundated with news about this virus and how we're to, look after ourselves and even stay 1.5 metres apart, which we are.
We are doing.
So how should we be teaching our kids or talking to our kids about this serious pandemic that's affected our country and our world?
I think the first thing to do as parents is model. Our children will pick up what's going on for us, even without us verbalising. Our children can pick up our body language, they can pick up our anxiety. So we need to make sure we've got places to offload our own anxiety so that it's not onto our children. Okay. So modelling's a really big part of it. I think also just being aware of the different ages and stages. For many young children, we say shielding is the best option.
Right.
They are still going to pick it up.
When you talk about young, are you talking about?
Look, preschool, toddler kids, shielding as much as we can. So staying out of, when we have big conversations, make sure they're out of earshot, chat about it when they're having a nap or they're actually in bed. Some of the basic things we can tell them, but just keeping them shielded from the big stuff. Right. They just need to know they're safe. Okay. Older children, primary age children, teenagers, they need facts, but remembering that they are also going to process a lot of this in emotional ways rather than intellectual. Okay. A lot of our children's questions, look for what's underlying their question, and their underlying question is usually, am I safe? Are we safe? We can't always guarantee that, but that's what they're worried about.
And is that the message which we're supposed to tell our kids? Like, what are we supposed to do, Colette, in these situations?
So there's a fascinating study on how to empower families during a healthcare crisis. What they call it is the care principles.
Right.
Care is basically broken down into 4 different areas. So the C is choices. Okay. Giving our children the opportunity to practice things that is their choice. The obvious ones are hygiene, using hand sanitizer. Yeah. For our teenagers, some of the choices can be monitor what you're watching, how much you're watching, right. How much is coming through on your social media feed.
I think that can apply to parents as well.
Absolutely. And are we checking that we're looking at reliable sources and not flooding ourselves as parents?
Yes.
The second one is, for A, is agenda. So giving your children and the family the option to kind of think of an agenda. What if school breaks up or school has to stop? What happens then?
Right.
What does our agenda look like? Are we practicing exercise habits? Okay. What things can we do, like cuddle our pets or walk the dog? What things are we going to do for family members? Mm-hmm. The third one is R, which is resilience. Often when our teenagers and us as adults reach out, we've spoken about volunteering here before. Mm-hmm. When we reach out and we volunteer, we actually take the focus off of ourselves or fixating on the issue, and we actually feel empowered. And then the most important one is emotional support.
Right.
Listen to your children. Listen to what's happening underneath their fears for them. We don't need to give them false hope, but we need to know that our job is to keep them safe. Then also just letting them vent. If they're disappointed that things have been cancelled, let them say that. Okay. Don't give them platitudes. So really it's just about loving and caring for our children, right. Hugging our children.
And reassuring them.
And reassuring them, but hugging and touching our own children in our own safe space.
Thank you so much, Colette, for those awesome tips. I know that's helped you. Don't forget, CARE is the message that Colette's giving us. So keep it locked right here at Mums at the Table.
Okay, here's a tricky one for you. We have lots of traditions around Christmas and around birthdays. What about Easter? Do you have any family traditions for Easter?
Yeah, look, our family probably keeps it low key. We don't sort of, and I say that from a Christian perspective and a Easter egg perspective. We sort of just keep that a little bit low. But one thing I definitely do each year is we go into the Bible and we read the story. Right. Of Easter and of, you know, Jesus' death and his resurrection, and then we talk about that. That's something I do. But other than that, I haven't sort of invested in huge amounts of traditions. What about yourself?
Well, no, we didn't. We didn't do anything. We just sort of got the kids the eggs and didn't do egg hunts or anything like that. Just gave them to them as you know, sort of a thing that we did. But I was looking at some of the traditions that you could actually do with your kids, because I thought, wouldn't it be nice to put something special around Easter? And one of the ones that I came up with that I really liked, and it's a way to get the kids outside as well, was Easter gardens. So planting things at Easter time, because you're heading into winter, so you can plant your potatoes and your carrots and silver beet and all those sorts of things. And then once they've started growing and your kids have seen how they grow, and you can talk to them about creation and all sorts of things like that.
And new life
and all of that thing that comes around Easter. Then you can actually donate them off to your food pantry or to your next door neighbours.
I think that's a great tradition.
There's a couple of things there that you
have
can
an
do.
Easter garden in your backyard, or you know, somewhere in your apartment,
a pot.
or a plant, you know, just a flower plant even. So, maybe not that time of year, but And I guess that's where the whole egg thing came from, because that was all about new life, and that's where sort of eggs came into the tradition. I've got a friend, she's a pastor, she gets her kids up at sunrise and they do I guess in a sense a dawn service, but they talk about, you know, Jesus' resurrection, and she does that. She's also taken them to a gravesite to do the talk with them, to talk about death and the resurrection there and what it will be like.
Because for little kids it would be hard for them to understand about death if they haven't witnessed it.
And she's done it in a beautiful and really gentle way, but she's tried to make that whole Easter area and space what it's really about, which is what we're celebrating. And it's, you know, Jesus' death, but, you know, that covered everything, that ticked off everything.
And the resurrection.
The resurrection, we also do dabble into the chocolate thing too, and we give the kids the chocolate thing, and I think that's out there. I think everyone really loves that. But it's really, I think it's lovely to sort of dig deeper into the meaning behind it and make sure our kids know that as they're growing up.
Hi everyone, and today we're making, what are we making?
What are we making? What's your favourite? What did we make the other day and you loved it?
On the rice thing.
With
Cheesy rice.
cheesy rice. Olive absolutely loves it. And can I say that this is so quick to make and it's so healthy for your kids. It takes no time. When it's autumn and cooler weather and raining, I can't think of anything better than comfort food. And this for me is exactly what it is, comfort food. Yes.
When I had the cheesy rice, I loved it, but my brother didn't. I went going for it.
You did, you ate the whole thing. So this is what you need for our cheesy rice. Now I'm using oat milk and you just put it in a pot. I won't turn the fire on yet. Oat milk. Moses, can you pass me the nutritional yeast flakes? Thank you. Okay, he can't part with it. He does like the nutritional yeast flakes. So this is full of B vitamins, nutritional yeast flakes. You can find it at any health food section in the supermarket. That'll give it the cheesy flavour. Then can you pass me the arrowroot powder, Momo? Oh, that one's not as nice as the other. He's gonna not like that one. So this is arrowroot powder. This is like a cornstarch. It will just thicken it up, and a little bit of salt. And then I'll add some tamari. I'm just gonna mix that for a second. Just make sure it's all mixed through. I'm gonna add the tamari. I still haven't put the fire on. Once I put the stove on, I'll put it on a low heat or medium low until it thickens up into a cheesy, like a melted cheesy sauce. So I'm just gonna stir this until I'm sure all the lumps are out. So we'll just stir that until it's nice and thick. And this is what I love about this recipe. The cheesy sauce, you can actually hide veggies, even though they can see them, they're green. You can hide these vegetables inside the sauce. And because it's so cheesy and saucy, the kids eat it. So I've just made some broccoli. You could just put your kids' favourite veggies. If you don't like the broccoli so big, you can make it smaller for the kids. You can even cut some snow peas and make it smaller. I've put it in the microwave with a bit of plastic over it just for 2 minutes, just to soften the vegetables up.
The snow peas are from the snow.
Yeah,
That's why I liked eating them after Mummy or Daddy said. I went going for it after that. Nom, 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 nom.
So I've left this on the stove top for about 5 minutes and it's thickened up very quickly. As you can see, it's like cheesy sauce. I added a touch of oat milk, just extra to make it runnier because it was very thick, and it actually goes a longer way. Now, rice. I've got some brown rice. So you've got all your fibre in the brown white rice for the kids as well. And I'll put some of the veggies in there now. It's still on a low heat. And we'll put some veggies on top as well. Okay, and we're going to serve it up in a nice dish. Is it? That's okay. I'll turn it off in a minute. Look at that cheesy goodness. Okay, so now some fresh chives on top. And there you have it, your delicious comfort food, cheesy brown rice, healthy for the kids. Takes no time. Try it, let us know what you think. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us today. It was good to have you with us.
We had a fun time, didn't we?
We did. I liked your tradition about the garden. I'm taking that on board.
Good. And if you want to find out anything else, subscribe to us at Hello at Mums at the Table, and you can get our e-newsletter. We'll send you videos and articles and maybe even some helpful tips.
Probably not from us.
Not from us, because we don't have helpful tips.
That's it. We'll see you next time.